My Republican family voted against Kamala specifically because they said she was going to drag us into World War III. But look at what we've got going on right now. Not only is he tweeting out incendiary comments like, Tehran, you all need to evacuate immediately. I told you so. It's too late. Millions of lives are going to perish because Iran didn't sign the agreement that I took them out of the last time I was in office. And even last night, making comments, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Nobody knows what I'm going to do. That's literally an interview he just gave last night about something as serious as whether or not he's dragging our country into a war we did not start and do not belong in. He's taking it with such a flippant attitude, whether he's going to allow our country that already has our bombs dropping on Iran, whether we're going to go proactively participate in preemptively slaughtering tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands.
I guess today is another day to remember the warnings that we got. And for those who are regretting to regret, because
you people better be on the fucking front lines now that we're going into World War III. Yeah, and I am talking to you, MAGA. But you know, just before I go a little bit further, you remember this whole song and dance that your guys sang about no new wars? Or wait, how about when you guys played the fucking guitar, conducted the orchestra for him, and saying like, oh yeah, Biden is gonna start World War III. Do you see where I'm going with this? Oh, wait. He's going to have the whole Palestine and Israel war resolved along with Ukraine and Russia within 24 hours. But I also recall some of you assholes going as far as to say, oh, why don't you put your boots on the ground to other left-leaning content creators and other people that are speaking out against Trump? Need I remind you that Trump is a draft dodger? Oh yeah, but no new wars? Then explain this. But I know you assholes are gonna start blaming Obama for something, but here's the purpose of that Iranian nuclear deal that your guy was so against. Sound familiar? So, not only is he unable to end any of the current wars that are currently happening in the world, he is now gonna start World War III and piss off Iran. But oh yeah, secure borders and cheaper eggs, am I right? And somebody is saying, oh yeah, he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, not in this fucking lifetime or any other lifetime after that. But hey, MAGA, don't let me keep you from, wanting to serve your country or serve this person. So if you want to serve and unalive yourself for this man, then do it. By no means am I going to stop you.
I waited for 3.5 years. White man did it in 1 week. I waited for 3.5 years. White man did it in 1 week. I said I waited for 3.5 years. The white man did it in 1 week. We got to get our act together.
All of this is happening because this country did not want to see a woman as president. Everything Kamala said that was going to happen is now happening. We're watching it unfold in real time with our own eyes. She said by the middle of next year, Donald Trump's plans is going to inflate inflation, and it took less than the middle of this year.
Donald Trump's plans for the economy would accelerate inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year. The consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. Consider what he intends to do if we give him power again. Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol. His explicit intent to jail journalists, political opponents, and anyone he sees as the enemy. This president is thinking about putting us in a position where we're in a war with Iran. The consequences will be absolutely unacceptable and tragic in terms of the young men and women who are American soldiers who would be sent and deployed into something that was completely avoidable. Because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally. One that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within.
Kamala Harris warned us about Trump and Iran. Watch how detailed and specific she is in her warning.
He took unilateral action to withdraw us from the Iran nuclear deal. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Some people thought it should be stronger than it was, but it was very well negotiated, and people were complying with it. And he pulls us out of it based on unilateral action, frankly, from my perspective, born out of his fragile ego. And everything that we have seen happen since was predictable to one extent or another. Iran poses a real threat to the United States based on its nuclear capabilities. And the negotiation of the JCPOA and that Iran nuclear deal was a smart way to put a cap on that in terms of escalating the threat. And now we look, and then apparently he's tweeting out, this bravado about, lock and loaded. What does that mean? Okay, and also...
Well, it's an implicit military threat that
yes,
the U.S. is going to use. We're going to use U.S. force.
Yes, it is. And again, listen, as far as I'm concerned, this president is motivated by his personal insecurities more than he is our national security. And so what we're looking at is, again, a threat that might be taken seriously. And I would dare to say that that threat was issued without serious consultation with our allies, with our military leaders, with our diplomatic leaders. What are our alternatives? Let's also be clear, if this president is thinking about putting us in a position where we're in a war with Iran, the consequences will be absolutely unacceptable and tragic in terms of the young men and women who are American soldiers who would be sent and deployed into something that was completely avoidable.
Kamala Harris is going to send us into World War III. I can't vote for her. Here we are. Here we are. She warned y'all, we warned y'all, and yet you still voted for this. And now you're saying, we didn't vote for this. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. When you voted for him, you voted for this. Okay, we are at war with Iran because you guys couldn't vote for Kamala because she's going to get us into World War III. Yeah, okay. Okay, sure, yeah. Whatever you say. Because here we are. Spiraling into war. Spiraling.
Yo. Y'all remember that lady from California that said if we voted Trump in, and by we, I mean they, if we voted him in, that we would be at war in 6 months? She was right. You remember that lady? Yeah, her. She was right.
The Black Panther Party were right about everything. They told us and they warned us that the United States government is not a force for peace. It's a force for domination. It's an empire that survives by taking, by bombing, and by controlling. They warned us years ago. They said America would keep using war to distract the people, to protect its power, and to expand its reach by any means necessary. They said this country wouldn't invest in the poor, wouldn't feed the hungry, but yet and still they'd always find money for missiles. And here we are, still watching the same playbook. You can't bomb your way to peace. You can't bring justice through destruction, and you can't claim to care about life and be pro-life while taking others overseas. They called the Black Panthers radical. They called them dangerous. But what they really were was that they were right about everything. They stood on truth, and now that truth is staring us all in the face. So I'll say it again. The Black Panthers were right. Not just about war, not just about imperialism, but about the system itself.
It's the height of hypocrisy that we have had a law for 50 years in the United States, the Symington Amendment, that says we cannot give aid to countries with undisclosed nuclear capabilities. And yet we know it's not even, I would say it's an open secret, but it's not even a secret. It's openly known that Israel has probably 90 warheads, nuclear warheads. It's known that they will not sign the NPT to reduce nuclear proliferation. It's known that they will not allow the IAEA to inspect, and it's known that they have nuclear weapons. And yet we give them $3.8 billion a year in military aid. And now this country, Israel, that hides all of their nuclear capabilities, is literally picking a war, and we're aiding them almost $4 billion a year, and also being asked to now go attack this country with no abilities when we knowingly abet the country that does have nuclear capabilities.
You know, when Donald Trump says he attacked on Iran nuclear facilities and he destroyed, Iranian was laughing because he's a fool, you know, like Iran knew that US is playing a game, and Iran decided to play their game as well. They pretended like they don't know anything, but Iran knew that's coming. Do you think they're deaf? They can hear anything? There were so many aircraft flew on their red eyes, on their skies. Do you think they're not gonna hear anything, and they're not gonna defend that? Iranian let it happen. They let it happen. They wanted to see what exactly US wanted to do, and US, they got into that trap and they decided to attack. Now US can never say they wants to have negotiations with Iran. They can never say that because US broke that. US violated that. And now Iran has free license to do whatever shit they want, because world saw that US, whatever they did, and they cannot be trusted. And Iranian played that game. They knew that's coming. That's why they emptied everything before that. And that's what makes Iranian smart. And now nobody can stop them from making that nuclear power. That's a smart way to play it.